Alright, well, welcome to a new video. Today I'm going to be doing something a little different, a little more interesting, I guess. We're going to be doing a little challenge. So, I'll explain this while I start. But, basically, you want to make an exhibit in 1 minute, an exhibit in 10 minutes, and an exhibit in 30 minutes, all for the same animal. Now, it's not going to obviously be the same exact exhibit, but it's just going to be showing you what you can achieve in different time frames on a time crunch. And, I'm going really quick because unfortunately I didn't realize the microphone button wasn't on while I was originally recording this. So, yeah, this might be a little awkward, so you'll just have to take my word for it when I say the timer is starting. This is the only video that won't be sped up because I do not want to talk through 30 minutes of footage. So I'm pretty sure it started. Yeah, it started. I think. No, it didn't start. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay. I think the video, pauses when it starts. Anyways, I chose a pronghorn antelope for this because I feel like it's an animal where it's big enough and small enough. Oh, okay, we're starting now. So you basically get a minute to make an exhibit. I didn't think I had the time really to, choose a nice nice fence right away. So I just dealt with what I had. I didn't have the time to, make it look super nice and crazy. I was on a time crunch. 1 minute, compared to the hour it takes me sometimes, hour plus, it's not that much. So yeah, we went with a nice dark brown, weird African typed fence, although pronghorn antelope are an American animal, native North American animal. I just threw out the foliage that was available to me on the animal, zookeeper tab thing. I added some nice wire mesh fence to the front. Yeah, let's just say, and I think the timer stops right about now. Okay, so this is when it stopped. Oh my gosh, yeah, there were definitely some technical flaws. Let's just say I can't compare it to anything yet because the rest of the exhibits haven't been built. But, yeah, I forgot food. I forgot shelter. If I was a pronghorn antelope, I would not want to live in this. Yeah, anyways, it's a nice mess. I'm pretty sure this is cold desert land foliage, yeah. I put the pronghorn antelope in there, I think, for a reference for my brain to see how bad I did. And, to be honest, it's this is probably something I could have made a couple years ago when I was first getting into the whole mod thing. But, let me tell you, this exhibit just is not it's very bland. There's no dirt, no texture, just some rocks, just some plants. I forgot food, so if this was a real thing, animal cruelty charges would probably be pressed. Yeah, let's just leave it at that. Let's see, how much longer till we get a couple seconds. Yeah, so I'm moving over here to get started on my second exhibit. I'm pretty sure I just get started right out of the gate, basically. So, yeah, right here. This is when I get started, I think, or pretty close to. I sped up the video here because, not fun. I was size referencing things to see what kind of fences would work for the, pronghorn antelope. I went with this, electric kind of fence, wire fence, is that what it was called? I don't really know. Cable fence, yeah, I think that's what it's called. This time I wanted to go with an actual, more real color scheme, instead of the just dark brown bush-like fence. That's just not, not what I'm about. And so I made a little bit of a new shape. It's more rounded, I guess. The edges are more rounded off. Excuse me. The edges are better in this one. They're more rounded, not so sharp. The corners, you can tell I'm putting in more time now. I think, I don't know. I think it's a pretty okay exhibit. I'll just explain what I'm doing on the way. Maybe I'll put music in between here because I don't like editing my voice. Am I the only one that doesn't like editing their voice? Like some people are probably used to it, which is why they don't care, but me, I don't know, man. I just don't really like editing my voice. It feels awkward listening to myself speak, you know? Alright. So, I made a man-made structure in an attempt to make some shelter for them. Although it's definitely not the greatest thing. It's something. I didn't make it deep enough. I was looking for some hay, I think it was. Let me zoom out, see how much. Oh, we're already like 2/3 through the video. Nice. Basically, I added water this time. I added hay so the animals wouldn't starve. Like, it wasn't okay. Like, right now, there's some things I would change if I would have thought of them at the time. But, you know, when you're in a time crunch, you don't really remember things. Adding my various colored dirts to add some color, I guess. I don't really know what color scheme I was going for here. Did I have the time to get different plants in this one? I'm not sure. I think I did. Well, I'm adding a bunch of them now. This one I remembered to add trees at least, so that was a plus. You know, I wanted this to accurately... Oh, okay, I did add different plants. Okay. But yeah, I added trees. I wanted this to kind of accurately represent the lands I know that pronghorn antelope live in. As an citizen of the United States, I know I have gone to... I've gone quote-unquote out west, basically. Oh, wait. Timer stops here. Review, real quick. I'll talk later. So yeah, this exhibit is pretty okay. It's got technical flaws, like the barn, or yeah, I guess we'll call it the barn, is kind of, you know, we didn't even raise the roof in the corner, so it didn't really look right. They did have salt, they had hay, they had water. It's just kind of, there's some open space, and you know, the plants are okay. There isn't much, like, staggering, I guess, if you know what I mean. Like, it doesn't start off high and get low. Like, shorter grass in the front, taller grasses in the back. I guess it's definitely better than the other one. Definitely better. I don't think animal cruelty charges would be pressed. But, you know, yeah, just... I'm sorry. Ignore me. I'm yawning a lot. I'm tired, okay? Yeah, so going through this, it looks pretty okay. I think I changed the water because it was too bright. It looked very white, and that was because I was on the freshwater tab at the time I added water. So yeah, lots of rocks to compensate for the fence, which is a common theme. I decided to move over the pronghorn antelope again for some reason. I guess I just feel compelled to move them over into something better, although the game is in pause, so they really can't feel anything. Okay, so the timer started now, again. This is the 30-minute long exhibit. Now, this time, I had more of a goal in mind, like an end result I wanted, and that was, I wanted to have a nice, I wanted some elevation, because out west in the United States, we have a lot of mountains, and although, pronghorn antelope, they kind of live like in the valleys of the mountains. They don't live in the mountains. I don't know, it just felt kind of right. There's a lot of hills out there too. So, you know, it just felt right to have, you know, pronghorn, just have some hills and stuff, some elevation. So the color scheme with this exhibit again is this, you know, sorry, not dark, it's like light brown. Here I am trying to figure out how to make the rocks high enough to the point where the animals realistically would not be able to escape. So I'm figuring it out in my own little way, trying to get it to look, you know, nice enough, nice enough and also functional. So, here I kind of I'm looking for other rocks that fit the color scheme, and I came across these, like, African-y rocks, I think. I don't really know what they were called, I can't remember, and I can't read because the preview screen is too small, but, I added a bunch of little rocks, and not gonna lie, I really liked how the little rocks looked, so, Yeah, I added those. This is just supposed to be like kind of like a hillside rock cliff, not really a cliffside. I don't think I'd call it a cliff. But yeah, I really liked adding the little rocks there. I added more of them later because I thought they looked really nice. Like there I go, adding all of them. You know, it's a very tedious, but it's a very nice to look at kind of process. I added grass on the top so it looked more balanced out, and you can see where it's steeper with the dirt. Um, just a kind of effect tip, I guess, if you want things to look, or like your cliffs and your hillsides to look better, don't put grass down the side because it's usually rocky and not much vegetation can grow where it's steep. Yeah, so I added more rocks. I added some other rocks, these ones that are kind of like a little bit of a different color, these more tannish ones. Added thousands of little rocks again. I don't know why I like them that much. I've never used them before, I think, in a build, but like, it's those little details that count. Smoothed out the pathway for the pronghorn antelope to get up. Yeah, going around, continuing to add rocks. Adding that nice prairie on the top. Adding rocks around the edges of the fence. I like to rely on rocks to cover up the fence, if you know what I mean. I know a lot of people do this. It's a very kind of effective, nice way of keeping it looking decent. So I added a shelter that was not like a barn or anything. It was just a simple, in-game structure that you can add. And I really liked how it looked, plus the hay on the bottom. And this is the beginning of the long process that is adding all of the plants to the enclosure. I added a lot of ferns and later you'll see me add grasses, lots of different grasses. Out on the prairies where pronghorn antelope live, it's very like dry, I guess. I didn't actually walk in the prairies, but I could visually see them from my truck while driving. I wasn't driving. No, I was not. That's not good. Keep your eyes. Oh my god. Keep your eyes on the road, kids. Don't drive. No, I wasn't driving. My parents were driving. And anyways, in our vehicle we could see that there was the grass is it's like tan, but sometimes there's like brighter shades of green. It's kind of weird, but I don't know, it's very aesthetically pleasing, okay? That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah, basically lots of grass, lots of dry grass. There's certain little pockets in like states like Wyoming that have like states with lots of like very green vegetation, but also lots of very golden grass and like golden crisp grass and lots of other kinds of vegetation, I guess. Here I am once again adding all of the pleasant rocks and still adding the foliage. I guess. Oh, and those are plants that they would see out in the wild. Gotta add a couple of them that are a little bit realistic. And so, once again, trying to find that nice balance of natural, what do I call it? Natural foliage that would occur where the zoo is located, but also finding that happy medium of what the animals would naturally see in the wild, so that's fun. I was kind of struggling here to find transition plants, so to speak. Like, how in the back the plants are tall, but in the front you want them to be less shorter? I was trying to just like find a happy medium of that, but I couldn't really find it that well. So, I just kind of, I don't know, left it there. Left it how it is and added the dirt because I was getting a little shorter on time. It's really crazy how fast time can be like, spent in this game. Like, you can spend hours building an exhibit and it feels like 10 minutes. It's kind of crazy. I added the trees again. There's a lot of dead trees out in the deserts. Or, well, not even dead trees, but like, I don't even know how to describe them. There's lots of pine trees, actually. So I guess here's a story. In South Dakota, we have the state of South Dakota here in the United States. We have this thing called the Badlands, and we also have the, I think they're called the Black Hills, the Rolling Hills. I'm not really sure. Black Rolling Hills. I don't know. But basically, they've got lots of pine trees. It's a very hilly landscape. The Badlands is like a very hilly desert. If you look it up, you'll know what I mean. But basically, it's very interesting landscape because it can have like tons of desert and it looks very dry, but also maintains very dense, dark green foliage. It's very interesting to look at, I think. And pronghorn antelope live in this state, so I thought it'd be, a very nice touch to add that, which is what I did. Going through adding the final finishing touches of decor and, making nicer area. And the timer rings right about here. So, this is the review. I'm doing a review now of all the exhibits. Once again, like I said, I forgot to press the microphone button when I started recording. So I'd been recording for a whole hour without a microphone on. So lots of technical difficulties. There's holes in the bottom of the mesh fence. You could, get things under there. It's kind of nasty. Looking at it, it looks very mediocre, very bland. Like I said, animal cruelty charges could be pressed over this exhibit because of the lack of food. And, there's no shelter, there's nothing really, I don't even know. It's very bland. I don't like it. I don't. I give it a 2 out of 10. I don't know what I was doing. Okay, right, here we are. I just used grasses from the Zookeeper tab, which is why it looks so, I don't know, bland. That's the word for it. Everything kind of blends in when you are on that, when you're in the cold desert, I guess. It's strange. All my foliage for the cold desert blends in. Second exhibit, I give it I think a 6 out of 10, 5.5 out of 10. Once again, technical flaws the roof not being pitched or whatever, or not the roof, sorry, the walls. Yeah, the cable fence is cool. The hay bales were nice. The animals would not have cruelty charges pressed on this exhibit for them. Although you can tell it was made, you can still look at it and see where it's kind of made quickly. I added a salt lick though, so salt block, then, That's one thing I didn't add in the third exhibit, which I wish I would have. Yeah, looking at all this, it's okay. There's the plants growing through the water trough is not cool. Don't like that. Moving on to the third exhibit. I really like this exhibit. Or wait, why am I going back? What am I looking at? What is so interesting over here? Can we go over there now? I'm sorry. I'm just talking to my inner me. Yeah, trees, rocks, plants, good. Okay exhibit. Moving on to this, I added some changes, clearly. I added a path to make it look a little better, but this is the exhibit that'll probably go in the thumbnail, so that's why I wanted to spruce it up a little bit off of camera. Yeah, very, very nice. I like this a lot. Considering I haven't played Zoo Tycoon in a couple months and somehow maintained a consistent style throughout this whole exhibit, I'm very glad. I like this one the most. It's got elevation to it, which is really nice. All of the other exhibits did not have any elevation, which is very, you want elevation in your exhibits. You don't want them to look flat, or at least you don't want them to look all flat. And so it's adding some of that hillside to it, I really liked. And I feel if your zoos have to work around those natural obstacles of hills, so inspiration for myself maybe if I in my other zoo that I'm working on, sort of, maybe. Oh my gosh. Anyways, so I'm just looking at it, admiring my work here. It's got plants, it's got rocks, it's got water, it's got food. The only thing I forgot is a mineral block, salt block, and I really just wish I would have been paying attention a bit more. And here I came to the realization that when you paused and unpaused the game, you would teleport. yeah, I was very shook by this recent interesting find I discovered. Um, Here I am cleaning up all my animals because for some reason I guess I just really can't stand looking at the circle notifications I get. Um, yeah, it's got a nice shelter, it's got rocks. If I were a pronghorn antelope, I think I'd like to live here. This is the biggest exhibit out of all three, and it's, like I said, personal favorite out of all three. That's to be expected, though. It's the third exhibit, you know? Um, you know, I really am just pleased with how this whole thing turned out. Oof, my computer is getting dark. Yeah, other than that, it was pretty, I don't know, pretty okay exhibit thing, I think. Um, yeah, food, water. I keep saying the same things over and over. I think this one probably best represents the natural habitat of the pronghorn antelope, or at least the surrounding area. Um, it's got like the interesting to look at backdrop with the forest. Once again, I've got the structure. I think the structure kind of adds character to it, which I really like. Out west, there's a lot of like out in the western United States, there are a lot of older structures that are kind of falling apart from, way back when first settlers were coming along. Not, I guess it's just, or not settlers, what should we call them? They weren't the first, they were just like, what do we call them? I don't know, the people going west. The wagon trains? Yes, okay, I'm having a fun time recalling all of my American history lessons, if you can't tell. Anyways, yeah, definitely more pleasant to look at than the rest of them. Personal favorite out of all of them. It's currently 1 p.m. I've been recording and working on this for 2 hours. I didn't expect that I'd have to do a voiceover, so I'm a little disappointed. Yeah, it's 1 p.m. I'm kind of hungry. If you want to try this, go right ahead. I don't take any ownership for it. It's a really fun challenge, and I think the Zoo Tycoon 2 community could do with some new things. So I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys hopefully in the next video.